Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a tarot deck that I want to show you. This is another project that I've been working on. This one took a considerable amount of time to do because it is in fact a hand stenciled deck. So it took a lot of time to make the stencils, get the deck ready and learn how to stencil. So let me show you how the cards came out and hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so this is a deck that I did. This is a hand stenciled deck done in the traditional way that tarot cards were made. So how the stenciling works is you have your image, the basic lines, and then you overlay for each particular color a stencil. So let me show you an example, what I've got here. So this is basically how the line work looks. So you have the basic line work like this. This is partially stenciled. And I'll show you what the stencil looks like. Now, apologies for the stencil being so dirty, but that's how it looks after a while. I put some acrylic on here to experiment, and it was a big mistake. Anyhow, so stenciling works like this. You have this kind of image behind, and then the stencil gets overlaid, one for each color, and then it's painted. So you can use it's called a stenciling brush. It's a very short, blunt type brush. You can dab it on. You can use a sponge. You can even use a roller if you want. Some people do that. So that's how it looks. There's some of the stencils. So apologies again for the mess, but it's a messy job. So this is what the stencil looks like. This is one of the versions that I did. This version I put a back on and I cut them. The rest of them I hadn't even bothered. It's such a learning process. I have literally hundreds of these things all over the place. So let me show you what it looks like so far. Again, this is the very familiar traditional pattern. And I think it's the one that Paul Marteau used. Paul Marteau is the guy who came up with this pattern, very famous deck. So it's quite similar in many ways. I did make some changes though with my own version. So let's go through some of the cards. It is going to be a bit messy, but that's the historical accuracy of it. So, and also some of the colors. To be honest, this was just the paint that I had on hand. I didn't mix any of the colors. I just took it straight out of the bottle and just used it. But the colors came out pretty good. I quite like this. Once again, this is just a test. Let's see how it goes. Here I've changed it. I think with the Grimaud, I think they're both the same color. I can't remember, but I'm sure I changed it. You can see the paint still thick over the lines. But I always wanted to have a stenciled deck, and goddamn, it took a very long time to do. It's not the easiest thing to do. It takes a lot of patience. Getting the stencils cut is a complete pain. It's real hard work. There's many ways you can do it, but you need a lot of patience. And overall, it came out really good. Was well worth it. I plan to do stencils. I'm working on the Pierre Madenie deck, and I plan to do stenciling for that. This looks okay, but to be honest, the lines are too crisp, too clean, too synthetic for me. It looks too digital. And when you mix like digitally made lines with very rudimentary style stenciling, it doesn't look right. Something just doesn't feel quite right. But if I use the line work from the Madenie, which is got some broken parts and it's not exactly perfect, I think that with the stenciling would work okay. I love this moon card. And Judgment, World card, and the Fool. Okay, I won't go too quickly through these, too slowly rather, because kind of get a bit boring. But I tried different paint. I tried regular ink, indelible ink. I tried acrylics. Gosh, I've tried so many things. But this one is I think it's acrylic gouache. I can never pronounce that word. So it's kind of in between acrylics and gouache, but easier to work with. And I love that. I love the way the stencil didn't line up correctly. I think the beauty of this stuff is in the imperfection. Okay, let's go through quickly. You can pause at any time. This line work is it's a hybrid. It's just a deck that I use. It's my experimental deck. The point of this deck was just to see if I could do stenciling. Like I said, I always wanted a stenciled deck, and when I went online to have a look, I could buy one. I realized it's pretty expensive. So as usual, I thought, well, I can do that. So I started this project. It's maybe been a year or so, and yeah, eventually I did it. So finally, I do have a stenciled deck, but I'm going to do another two rather. I'm going to do the, like I said, the Madenie in traditional coloring, and I'm going to do the, okay, so I was looking for this earlier. It's here. So I'll do the Madenie in two different versions. The traditional version that it came in, and then this kind of format. This is 1709 to 2020. 1709 is the Pierre Madenie deck. And 2020 is obviously when I finished it. But this is just a generic line work. And you can see here where I've made mistakes. I have cut the stencils for both the red and the blue at the same time without realizing. It's really complicated work. It's very detailed. It's easy to make mistakes. When I see the traditional decks with their mistakes, I totally understand. So this is it. So at least finally, I do have a stencil deck. There's one thing I should say. I did cheat a bit here, where it should be a combination of the blue and the yellow to make the green. I actually made a separate stencil for green, because with modern paints, well, at least for me, it wasn't so easy to blend them. So anyway, that's it. That's the hand stenciled deck. Took a while to figure it all out, to cut them and everything, but that's it so far. Wish me luck on doing it for the Pierre Madenie. Two different versions, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and hope that you have a great time. Take care.